All right, ladies, today we're going to talk about character, and I'm inspired to make this video because I came across this anti-feminist book about fascinating womanhood. The woman who wrote this book was born in the 40s. She's no longer with us, but in the following video clip, you will see her daughter, who is probably in her late 60s, early 70s, and granddaughter who have carried on this work about how to be feminine and how to be feminine in relationships. So here's a clip from a video I watched today about tips for single women, and it has to do with character. Let's check it out, and then I will continue my video on the other side.
And giving back more, and then that's something that you're working on.
Well, I was told when I was young that one of the things that attracted my dad to my mom, first off, was her character. He was so attracted to it because she wouldn't do things she didn't believe in, and she would absolutely do things she did believe in and could not be deterred. Like if she said she wasn't going to do something, she did not do it.
Right.
Or vice versa. And he witnessed that. And he said, I just wanted to, of course, she was pretty too, but he said, I just wanted to scoop her up and take her home with me. Character is something that is attractive.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. To a good guy. And you know what? A bad guy isn't going to be attracted to it, so that can help weed him out.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Or he's just not going to really notice it.
The reason this appealed to me so much is because I'm constantly working on my character, and I get upset with people who don't have these certain basic things, like keeping your word, being reliable, being dependable, being kind to other people. It seems like these are some qualities that people have really lost. And especially, I was really struck by when she said that her father, which would have been the husband of the woman who wrote this original book, was attracted to her mother based on her character. Sure, she was pretty, but it was her character. And I think that nowadays, so many people don't talk about character, aside from probably Jordan Peterson. And so many people are really focused on very superficial things, like how somebody looks. And looks are important, but it's not the only thing that matters. And how quickly you can get something from them: attention, money, sex. People have become very disposable. And I think that there are a couple of factors that have led to this. One is the people being so much on their phones, social media and dating apps for sure. And then also all these trends around, men are like women and women are like men, and people trying to find out how they can be attracted to each other, which has made women feel very guarded because they have to act like men. And men have kind of lost their place because they're told they're toxic and we don't need masculinity. And what is a woman? What is a man? Like this whole woke movement. And if you don't buy into it, you're not accepting, and you're kind of racist and you're judgmental, like shaming people for wanting to have like certain roles. And character is really part of that. Character is really what builds our attraction. And when we're told we should just be like men, or men should just be like women, or all of this, people are focusing on the wrong things. People are not really thinking anymore about their work ethic. I was watching Megyn Kelly yesterday. I love Megyn Kelly. And she had on Mike Rowe. He used to run the show called Dirty Jobs, I believe. And whenever I see him on, he's talking about how men no longer want to do these certain jobs that we need, these physical jobs, because they don't want to work hard and they don't want to sweat, and that there are millions of jobs open in this country for people doing physical work and trades, plumbers, for example, or any kind of physical work, even in construction. And guys don't want to do it because, hey, I can work for $22 an hour at McDonald's. I don't have to work that hard. So part of character is working hard, feeling accomplished by what you do, having some discipline, keeping your word, showing up, being reliable, being dependable, being responsible with your money, being responsible with your word, being intentional with your sexuality. And in all of this mismatch, we've really lost that. So now let's talk about character. And that video was about for single women. Now, I'm also thinking about a comment someone left earlier where she's like, men are always coming at me on my Facebook Messenger. And yes, that is another big problem that, guys, if you're doing that, what I think is loser, repulsive, cringe. Like, it is so utterly repulsive to me when men are approaching me on social media or sending me emails, telling me I'm beautiful, or can they get with me, or just wanting my attention when they've offered nothing. It's a complete lack of character. But the reason they do it is because some women will bite, and it will be desperate women. Women of character are not gonna bite. Part of having character, and this is why I want to talk about this, is a lot of women have been told, to be kind and to be nice to people, which makes sense if you want to be kind to your neighbor and kind to people you work with. But we're not supposed to be kind to anonymous men on the internet, or even men we know are trying to get into our pants or trying to get attention from us. That is not character, to be receptive. It took me a long time to realize why I got so annoyed, because I want to be kind and I'm used to interacting with people in my real world that are nice to me and I'm nice to them, and then people are coming at me and I'm like so triggered because they're taking, it's manipulation and it's taking, and there's no character there. When what started happening for me? When these characterless men of no character, will approach women online through Instagram messaging, Facebook messaging, LinkedIn messaging. I've been hit up everywhere. That's why you can't get to me anymore. It's all unavailable because it's very loser behavior and I don't like it. And when women are constantly accosted by this type of attention, which is actually, it's a taking, it's a plundering, it's needy. I think we just get guarded. So I started getting super guarded, and I started going around feeling really guarded. And when women get really guarded, then men go, why are women so angry? Why are women so aggressive? And I had to catch myself about a year ago because I was really angry too. And it came from being guarded because I didn't have enough protective boundaries or in my social media and phone space around men being able to access me. So the way I protected myself was with walls and being guarded. And I've learned that in order for me to feel my joy and feel my pleasure and feel relaxed in myself, what I really needed were some good boundaries to be less accessible. Even now, if I speak to any man at all, whether it's for a business venture or say he wants to go out with me, I don't give him my phone number. He can email me. I think that women have become too accessible to men. And part of having character is having some boundaries, having some standards. Now, it's one thing if you're like working with someone and you've worked with him for months or years, or he's in your school or your church or your gym, and you've kind of trusted him. I think we feel a little bit differently, but I think women have become way too out of touch with having standards and boundaries, and that's part of our character. It's part of our character, and I think we've been told that it was not nice, or we're not with the times, or this or that. But I will tell you this. As she said, her dad was attracted to her mom because of her character. And that's the kind of man you want. The only man that's worth fucking is a man that's attracted to your energy and to your character. And there won't be very many of those because that's very individualized. There is a whole world of men out there, due to social media and easy women and the sexual revolution and hookup culture, that sees women as body parts. So to the men watching this video, to the majority of men, I'm just a body part. They would just fuck me and leave me, and they don't give a shit. They don't care about my character one fucking iota. Those men messaging you in your inbox, those men wanting your number, those men wanting to see your booty, they could give a shit about your character or your children or what's important to you. Even the guys in the manosphere that say, we don't care what a woman does for work. A woman just has to be beautiful. They're also superficial. They're superficial. And a lot of people, a lot of us have become very superficial, valuing youth, looks, money, status, power. And we have forgotten about character. I can't tell you how many men I had sex with after my divorce that were great in bed, very passionate, very sensual, but their character was down in the shitter, in the toilet, because then they would just blow me off like I was some disposable thing. And I think it's just how society has allowed people to be and what women have allowed. We as women cannot allow just anyone to access our bodies. Any man worthy, this is my opinion. You don't have to do what I say, or you can disagree. I'm not trying to be self-righteous here. I'm just working out my own stuff here on the air with you guys. But I feel like the only men worth fucking are men who are paying us a lot, and I'm speaking of at least $500 an hour, or a man who values us for our character, our joy, and who sees us as a life partner and we see him as a life partner. Anybody else, I'm going to tell you, is a 99% chance he's just going to fuck you and take off. And what's that going to do to your character and your feminine energy? Because when that started happening to me, I started getting really guarded and I started feeling really sad. It took my joy away from me. It robbed me of my joy, you guys. It robbed me of my joy. Women are not like men. Women are not like men. We are not like men. Women in general do not want to just fuck and run, dump and run, rail and bail, whatever they call it. A lot of really funny terms. And there are a lot of men who don't like to hook up. There are a lot of men who only want sex in relationships. But let's get back to character. I think the dating apps have ruined it as well, because when you're in a dating app, you're not evaluating someone's character. You're evaluating the only thing you can see about them, which is their body. And a man doesn't need to see much at all. You can be the most obese woman in the world and very ugly, and a guy who's horny enough will, fuck you, but he'll never date you. Because men are not that choosy when it comes to sex. So I think a lot of women have been way too easy. And then they're focusing on, how can I get this guy and how can I look good? So there's been this obsession with, and I personally find it very unflattering for a woman to have had work done. You can tell if she's had something done. Even the liposuction, you can just tell something is off. It's okay to have wrinkles. I have never done Botox in my life. I'm very proud of the fact that I've never done Botox in my life. I've never done anything. I've never had plastic surgery in my life, ever. I don't want to invest in that. I think that any man that's worthy of fucking me and having me is gonna like me for my natural beauty. Now, you might not think that I have natural beauty. A lot of you might think I'm the ugliest thing ever. I've had people leave in the comments that I'm just an old prude and no man will ever want me. But there are some men who think I'm beautiful. Okay, there are men like that, and I just need I don't need everyone to think I'm beautiful. But the point is, the right man for you, and even the most ugly women get married. There's someone that's going to find you beautiful, who's going to appreciate your character. So my invitation is that as women that we focus on our character and our boundaries and our joy, because I noticed that's the only thing I can control is my character, how I show up. Am I reliable? Do I keep my word? Do I keep my word to myself and to other people? Can people count on me? Am I honest? Do I take care of my health and my fitness and my body? Do I cultivate my joy? Those are things I can focus on. And then having some healthy boundaries. Because what those boundaries allow me to do is to feel relaxed and to feel safe. Because when I don't feel safe, when guys are always coming at me wanting things and guys I don't know, it doesn't feel safe to me at all. Imagine, this whole social media experiment is new in the humankind. I didn't get my first smartphone until after my divorce. I was already in my 50s before I got a smartphone. Before that, it was a flip phone, and most of my life, we didn't even have these phones at all. We used pay phones and phones with a long cord to the wall. So this is a brand new human experiment, and when guys are coming at us, the reason that we don't like it, ladies, is because imagine the olden times, we're just walking down the jungle, walking through the fields, and all of a sudden some guy's coming up to us, flashing us, or saying, "Hey, can I have you?" It's like a predatory thing. It's kind of violent. It's kind of predatory, and it's very low class. It's very low class behavior on the part of men, and a lot of men don't have any good manners. They weren't taught how to be a gentleman. A gentleman approaches a woman by giving. He's not going to use her or try to get attention from her. He doesn't use women to get attention. He wants to protect the woman. He looks for a woman who inspires him, and he wants to protect her. He's not trying to get things from you. Those are very undesirable traits that have come out. And as a result of that, women have become, I think, very guarded. But ladies, you do not have to go around guarded. This is how I have done it for myself, and this is part of character. Part of character is, in my opinion, not to walk around all guarded and angry, but to find our joy and have some healthy boundaries. And I did a number of things to make these healthy boundaries so that people couldn't just come at me. I don't hand out my phone number to people. On my Treasure Within Coaching website, you can't have my phone number because a lot of men watch my videos and then they want to sexualize me and send me personal messages. And I'm not available for that. So I also keep my videos pretty non-sexualized from here up. I don't wear anything sexy because I don't want random men trying to get with me. Do you see what I'm saying? Part of healthy boundaries is I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on TikTok, and I closed my Facebook. After years and years of having it, last year I closed my Facebook. I deleted it. I have a YouTube channel. Any comments are disrespectful, I just block them. I'm like, is this a comment that I like? If it's mean, you're out of here. You can't be mean to me. That's a healthy boundary. Like, you have to be nice to me. I also, I'm on Twitter for my work, but my DMs are not open. No men can contact me on there because I only follow ladies or like scientists or journalists, and the only people who can DM me are people that I follow. I don't follow any men. And then for my other business, I have auto replies. I have an auto reply for texting, and I have a different phone number. I have several phone numbers, but the one that I advertise, I have an auto reply to my texts and I have an auto reply to my emails. So I don't have to interact with any men unless they have introduced themselves to me first. If they haven't introduced themselves to me first, I just delete it. So now I have my healthy boundaries and I feel safe. I think sexually too, we all have to get to that point of what are our boundaries around our sexuality. And I will tell you this about character. Most men, you know, the guys that say women are born, not made? Again, a toxic manosphere point which treats women as objects. Like, you're born, you've got tits, ass, and pussy. So that's all I need from you. I don't care what you do for work. You don't need a personality. You're born, not made. So that's all I need. That's very toxic manosphere stuff, because a woman worth being in a relationship with, she has developed her character. She has learned about boundaries, communication, healthy self-care. She's come in touch with her joy and her desire. She has structure in her life. She has healthy lifestyle practices. She's intentional with her energy. She's kind. She has some domestic skills she's developed. She's good with her money. She's financially responsible. She can provide for herself. You know, like, those are not things we're born with. Those are things we have to learn. And there's so many men who don't appreciate that. There's so many men who don't give a shit about our... There's so many men who are indifferent to our character because it stands in the way of them getting in our pussies. See, your character is actually an impediment to them getting what they want. Or they don't even care. They're like, oh, you got some tits? Okay, I'm in. I don't care that you have standards. So we want to weed those men out. I think that we have to get back to forming an attraction between men and women. I mean, if we want to start getting attracted to each other again, women have to develop their inner joy and have some healthy boundaries so they're not so angry all the time, right? So they can feel feminine and relaxed and happy. And men have to develop their masculinity, their strength, their courage, and realize that it's valued. They got to work with their body and work with their hands and challenge themselves physically and protect women and provide for women, not plunder women and slide into DMs. That's for losers. Grow up, boys. Grow up, men. And women have to soften. And if you have boundaries, you don't have to go around all angry. There are a lot of men who don't care about our character because they just want to fuck. They just want to slide in that pussy, and that's because they have nothing to offer, and their appreciation has gotten so, sadly, so low. So, character is how you weed out the men who are worthy of you, because they're going to appreciate your character rather than finding an impediment to sliding their dick in you, because a lot of guys want... I remember that guy I was supposed to go out with who stood me up twice. Because I was like, I didn't like him, but I should go on a date. He had no character. Or the guy I had sex with recently who was so good in bed, and I'm like, tell me your sex tips. He's like, yeah, I'll text them to you. And he never did. So I texted him. I'm like, you know what? All that great stuff in bed was completely negated with you not keeping your word. And it was for me because his character was shit. So what if you can be passionate and sensual in bed? That's great. But then if you blow me off or you don't keep your word, you've undone it all. No character. Now, this guy says he likes older women. I don't know what kind of older women he gets, because I would never date someone like that who's unable to keep his word. So, and a lot of men don't appreciate, like, I'm very intentional with my sexual energy, and I'm very proud of that. Because I have powerful sexual energy that's very intentional. And I don't give it to just anyone. I have a lot of requirements. And men don't appreciate that at all. I thought they would appreciate it. the ones that do get access to me, right? I thought they would appreciate it, because they've given me a lot of, they don't care. They're just like, I'm just here for the good times. Or they might even get angry because they're like, there were some friends I was friends with that were like more upper middle class, like a year ago, and some of us ladies were going out to eat, and she was divorcing her very wealthy husband, and she's a very attractive woman, feminine, well dressed, well put together, volunteers a lot, in her 50s, and she was very much into this guy who was a total ass, and she had sex with him because she liked him so much. She really, really liked this guy, so she was having sex with him. But he was just using her as easy pussy. And he told her, I'm a very sexual man. I will only date women who sleep with me. And because she was so into him, she had sex with him, but she was just he was just using her. In fact, the next day, and this is while I was on Bumble at the time, the next day I saw him, and she had told me what he did for work and stuff, so I'm like, I wonder if that's the guy. So I started messaging with him, and I sent her screenshots, and she's like, yes, that's him. He was trying to fuck me. He was trying to get with me. And then I said, but I thought, are you dating anyone, because she told me they were dating. He goes, no, I'm not dating anyone at all. I'm totally free, totally unencumbered. And he was just a total ass. And he was in his 50s. I mean, he didn't even take her to a hotel. They would just have sex in the car because her kids were home, his kids were home. He didn't even bother taking her to a hotel. Now, I can see if people are like in a relationship and they want to be like, well, let's do it in the car. But if you're newly dating and you're doing it in the car because you don't value the woman enough to put her in a bed, having sex in a car is not that great, you guys. You're courting a woman and you're having it in the car because she's not even worth getting a room for. The guy was an ass, and there are a lot of guys like him. So ladies, you cannot be so easy with the pussy. And a man is not going to respect. A man that doesn't respect you for saying, no, this is too fast. A man who's pushing you is a loser that needs to go on the fucking discard pile. So do men who are cheating on their wives, cheating on their girlfriends, and are in any other way dishonest. There's no character in lying or in cheating. If you're married or have a boyfriend, don't fuck other men. Character. You are loyal to your partner that you're committed to. You're honest. You keep your word. You're intentional. And you want a good quality person, you have to be a good quality person. And anyone who's not a good quality person has got to go. And I do the same thing with my friends. I will not be around women who bring men home like stray cats. I don't care if they're in a relationship. I will not be friends with women who are fucking around with men in relationships. I will not deal with women who fall in love with men that they just fucked and they're crying because he will ignore them. I'm not going to be friends with women who are alcoholics, who are still living at home, who are not financially responsible, or who don't keep their word, who are flakes, who have untreated mental health disorders. Like, I'm pretty picky. And I'm learning all this as I'm getting older, and I'm learning about people because I'm exposed to so many more people. A lot of people grew up in small towns. Okay, if you live in a small town, you will have no clue what I'm talking about, because in a small town, people know each other and they treat each other with a lot more respect. There's a sense of community. But in a big city, you get people coming and going and people treating each other as objects. I was talking to someone the other day when I was at my gym, and we were talking about the dating apps, and he was saying how so many people treat each other as disposable on the dating apps. They don't try to be in a relationship because they'll be like, well, I don't like what you said or whatever, so get rid of you. I can find another person on a dating app. so that people just treat each other as disposable. And I was telling him when I first, after my divorce, got on dating apps, this was like about 10 years ago. If I was no longer interested in a conversation with someone or decide I didn't want to meet someone, I would say it's some kind of a goodbye message, you know, like, it was so nice talking to you. I don't think this is a good fit. But often I couldn't even do that because people would just block me or unmatch me right and left. Like, at some point they would decide I was no longer useful to them and they would just block me. Even guys I've had sex with just blocking me. Out of the blue, like, like a couple times I was just, you know, getting ready to message someone on Messenger and say it was so nice to meet you, and the guy just blocked me. Like, he had what he wanted, or he was afraid of the intimacy, he was afraid of telling me he was no longer interested, or he was scared, or this was too much. My daughter would always say, "Mom, you're just too passionate." And I am passionate. Maybe that scared them, I don't know, but people treat each other so much as objects. So I think it's so important to have character and boundaries and look for people who value that. And there's no way to tell if a guy is just like trying to slide in your pants right away. I think that any man worth fucking is going to be attracted to our character and to our joy. And so those are the only things under our control. And I think that as women, this is my personal opinion, we develop our joy, we develop our character, and live a life that is like healthy and independent. And then the only men that are attracted to that are going to pursue us. And if they don't pursue us, they shouldn't have us. They need to pursue us, and pursue doesn't mean they keep coming and we say no. Pursue means they initiate. They initiate, they ask us out, they show their interest, and we can get to know them and see if their character matches what we're looking for. And that way women can feel like safe. You know, is this person safe? Does this person care about me? Is this person actually interested in me? Is he just trying to get his dick wet? You know, or does he have mental health issues? When he gets angry, is he going to hit me? Is he good with his money? Is he good with his kids? Does he have character? I think character is a thing we have to really focus on more than looks, money, power, and status. Thank you so much for watching my video.